to grant them leave to add more implicating affidavits. But in tonight's court ruling, presided over by the Chief Justice Owini Dolo, the court's circumstantial ruling has collapsed Noop's plea on dry rocks.
We have given due consideration to the application and submissions of counsel for the applicant and for the respondents. By a majority of 8-1, this court disallows this application. Courts shall be in the cause. The detailed reasons for the ruling will be contained in the detailed judgment dated at Kampala this 19th day of February 2021 and signed.
In court, where the applicant's legal team, led by Counsel Meda Lubiga Segona, prayed to court to allow the application, saying it raises special circumstances.
Again, we submit that our case has been made for special circumstances. While they talk about 50% of the time, counsel for the respondents do not compute the time they deliberately and illegally took away from the petition. But it does not stop there, because the case for you now is not the petition. Those predicaments that predated the filing of the petition have continued to punctuate the proceedings that continue today. And that's the reason, among others, why we are here.
Segona also based his evidence on the arrests and kidnaps of some key witnesses by security operatives, which they claim hindered them from meeting the deadline and gathering all the required evidence as directed by court. However, this was objected by Museveni's lawyer Kiriwa Kiwanuka, who told court that there is no conclusive evidence brought to court to consider the said allegations.
It is also prudent always that for a litigant to come to court they must have evidence. We have gotten to the point where we now practice the other way around. I first file a writ. After filing the writ, I look for the evidence. That is what you're getting. That is what is before your lordships. That I had a petition, but now I'm looking for the evidence. How is that possible? How can you achieve a grievance before you see the evidence? How can you say that my would-be witnesses are in prison? How do you arrive at the conclusion that they would be witnesses before interviewing? It's preposterous, my lord. It's preposterous, my lord, and this is the kind of conduct that this court must absolutely reject.
Joseph Masiko, the Electoral Commission lawyer, told court that the application is incompetent before court, saying court had fixed time of only 45 days to give a verdict. Against this submission, the respondents prayed to court to dismiss the application with the costs.
Counsel Segona on the same record is quoted as having said that they are going to be more prepared going forward. My lords, what we are seeing now is the exact opposite of that. As this court noted, not only did they fail to serve the 50 or so affidavits on the 11th, but even when time was enlarged, my lord, the record is clear that this court gave them an additional 4 days. The court noted that they had 10 days. And the court noted that they're giving them an additional 4 days. Even then, my lords, the filing was on the very last dot of 5 p.m.
Meanwhile, Supreme Court declined to grant leave for Robert to file the remaining 200 affidavits in his petition file before this court. Bernard Higa and Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Benajiga and Namamonde, for the update on the case of Noop versus Museveni. In more stories, Chief Justice Alfonso Winnie-Dolo has criticized National Unity Platform leader Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu over continued prejudice and discrediting of the Supreme Court. He was presiding over court determining the fate of Kyagulanyi's petition, seeking court to grant leave to his team of lawyers to submit more affidavits.
Ever since Robert Kyagulanyi petitioned the Supreme Court of Uganda as regards to the 2021 presidential results, he has on several occasions expressed dismay to the processes and particularly to some members of the bench.
That evidence has been adduced all through the hearing and we fail to understand why the Supreme Court rejects the evidence that we are bringing before it.
It is on this background and the others that the Attorney General William Beruhanga has made a submission to court, putting in question the manner in which the proceedings are taking shape in contravention of the law governing the judiciary and the time frame on submissions.
Honorable Sentamu Kyagulanyi, who is the applicant currently, made reference to his displeasure at the participation of 3 judges of the Supreme Court. Now, my Lord, of course, it behoves all lawyers of this court to desist, either them themselves, and indeed, if not them, to impress it upon their clients, that a trial, any trial, but of course especially a presidential petition, is very serious business.
William Beruhanga, the head of the legal bar, lamented over the continued interference by the petitioner Robert Kyagulanyi in the court processes through several media lash-outs to the Supreme Court bench.
This Supreme Court is the highest court of our land, and it operates in an open and transparent judicial environment. The necessary respect must be accorded to the court. And all counsel, indeed everybody, are duty-bound to adhere to this. Specifically, he called a press conference at which he requested, actually he vilified 3 judges of this bench and asked them to recuse themselves on the basis, and I quote, that they do not have confidence that they will get justice while at least these 3 judges or justices are on the quorum. This, I'm just quoting him. Now, my lords, of course, a litigant is perfectly within his rights to seek a recusal. Only that the venue for doing that is here, before this court.
The lead counsel to the National Unity Platform Party, Medal Lubega Segona, made a counter-submission to that of the legal principal advisor to government, the Attorney General.
I agree that a matter in court should be in the exclusive hands and 4 corners of court and nowhere else. And that has been my practice for the last 18 years. The Attorney General has equally not availed me with an opportunity to look at the material that he was able to look at.
With the submission, matters did not go down well, with the Chief Justice Owiny-Dollo lashing at Kyagulanyi's continued verbatim attacks on members of the bench through media reports.
If anybody has any issue to raise with any of the judges here, this is the forum. They come before us, present their case, and we attend to it without fear, without favor, without affection or ill will.
Dollo, without missing words, warned that no one will intimidate, prejudice or demystify the court process.
Fortunately, I know the Chief Justice of Uganda very well. I think I've known him since childhood. If anyone thinks he can intimidate, he can blackmail, he can induce with favors that Chief Justice of Uganda, then he's heading for a crash.
He, however, assures parties in the case before court that justice will be fairly accorded to them, and thus calling for respect and avoidance of holding the oath of justice in contempt.
I give you the assurance, we will proceed with this application, we will proceed with the petition, and nobody should have the fear that we will favor any person or we bear ill will against any person. We'll act according to the dictates of our oath. We are not opposed to fair criticism. I said this before. And the positions we hold, we expect criticism. We never invited anybody to come to court. If you have a plan B, you don't even need our permission. You pursue your plan B, for us will be done with whatever is before us.
Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Thank you so much, Robert Onyango. In more stories, Uganda National Examination Board, UNEB, has officially released timetables for 2020 primary leaving examinations, Uganda Certificate of Education and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Examination. The Executive Secretary UNEB, Dan Nokoracho Dongo, said that the examinations will be standard, the grading protocol will remain, and the content of examination papers will remain. UCE begins on the 26th of February, PLE begins on the 26th of March, while UACE begins on the 9th of April with briefing.
Uganda National Examinations Board is set to conduct the 2020 Uganda Certificate of Education examinations beginning on 26th February, primary leaving examinations on 26th March, and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examinations begins on 9th April. Each of the seasons begins with a briefing. At least 749,811 candidates are expected to appear for PLE exams, while 333,775 candidates will appear for Uganda Certificate of Education examinations and 98,379 candidates for Uganda Advanced Certificate of Examinations. The Executive Secretary UNEB, Dan Nokoracho Dong, however, says there are reports of people who have started selling papers they say are of the 2020 PLE in Mubende.
We want to warn very, very strongly those directors and head teachers who want to celebrate results that have been obtained through fraud, that this time round the board is going to be extremely harsh and on any other person who will indulge in this examination malpractice. Reports that we have received from Mubende area indicates that already some people are selling what they say are the PLE papers which are coming in the examination, and some schools are busy buying these at 150,000 per paper, even before the PLE paper has actually been printed. So we want to warn the public that no paper from UNEB can be available except when the exams are in process.
Uganda National Examinations Board says they are aware COVID-19 affected learners but have set standard examinations and insist that the grading protocols and content of examinations will remain.
We came back. We believe that schools made all the efforts to try and cover as much of the curriculum as they can. But we want to say that the examinations will be standard. You cannot say that the 2020 examination was a watered down version because of COVID-19. We still want to say, despite all the challenges that the candidates had, they were able to pass at this level. Grading, the setting is a standard setting, covering the syllabus for primary, UCE and UACE. And the grading protocols that have been used will also be observed. We do not want a situation where other countries doubt our credentials, our awards, because we have said, yes, this year, in order to get a distinction one, all you need is 50%. We don't.
Complying with the standard operating procedures on COVID-19 in conducting the 2020 examinations necessitated increasing the budget of UNEB. They requested for a supplementary of 10.5 billion shillings, which was granted by Parliament.
Therefore, the funds we had for running the examinations, whereas they would have been adequate under normal circumstances, when you are talking about another 35,000 invigilators that are required, several other marking centers that are required, our arithmetic gave us that figure. We presented this, and I am glad to say, at least from what I learned, that Parliament passed our request for supplementary funding.
Meanwhile, the UNEB Bill 2020 was passed into law by Parliament and it is pending the President's assent. Accordingly, this bill will become the UNEB Act and expands the scope of offences and sanctions. If assented to within this period, the examinations will be conducted in accordance to the new law. I'm Navka Farida in Kampala.
In more stories, the Public Accounts Committee wants the Ministry of Education to account for 8 billion Ugandan shillings which was never utilized. Now, the committee was following the Auditor General report for the financial year 2019-2020, which left many queries with no satisfactory answers on the expenditure. The committee, chaired by Budadiri East Nathan Nandala Mafabi, was meeting officials from the Ministry of Education who were led by the Permanent Secretary Alex Kakoza. However, the committee members were shocked that he only accounted for 2.6 billion Ugandan shillings, leaving other funds pending.
You are asking me to account for development funds worth 8 billion.
Now, what 8 billion?
Yeah, you're also asking me.
8 billion is where?
Hold on. You're also asking me to account for funds under recurrent of 5 billion.
5.5.
I'm apologizing to say, when you total that, you get 13. Which 13 I am accounting for in this query. It comprises 5.8.
Oh, no, just 5.8 has both the development and the recurrent.
Yes.
How can pension have a development budget?
Yes.
Development.
Those decimal points, Chairman.
600 million.
You'll get it from those decimals. They are there.
No, no.
Chair, you are a professional.
The last bit is okay. We did not absorb the money, some of the money, because of factors beyond our control.
Such areas are outside because you never got the entire budget.
I was given that as a possibility. I need to research deeper. But that's one of the possibilities, Chair.
No, it is useless.
Of course, I cannot. That's what I'm saying. I need to be committed. I don't want to lie, Chairman.
I'm saying, having grown it off, we still have a difference of about 518.
Chair, I will reconcile that, but I believe that these figures are...
You know what we're looking for, my brother?
They wait for another installment of money. And so my work for the Chair is to recognize accountability.
Well, UBC will keep you updated on where the 5.4 billion Ugandan shillings will be, or when we get the results from the Permanent Secretary. In more stories, the Inspectorate of Government has successfully concluded monitoring the training program under Danish Agency for International Development Upgrade, known as Community Responsibility, to enhance transparency and accountability in the Nkwale sub-region. The coordinator of the initiative, David Mujisha, says the community monitors are now expected to monitor all government programs in their areas and also report inconsistencies to the relevant authorities. We have a detailed report on this story.
Communities from different villages in Nkwale region have been sensitized and trained by civil society organizations on how to monitor government programs in their respective areas.
We expect them to monitor all government programs in their communities where they live. We expect them to lead in handling grievances in the communities to ensure that the service is delivered where it is supposed to be delivered. We expect them to make routine reports on how government programs are being implemented in their communities.
The 3-day training for 18 members from different parishes is being funded by the Danish Agency for International Development under the close watch of the Inspectorate of Government.
And this program so far accounts for about 1.5 billion Uganda shillings that we are injecting in the communities in order to get the services that we are looking for.
He says the communities can now give reports regarding the implementation of government programs and demand for accountability.
We are getting a very good feedback from the communities. They are very excited about this program and they are promising that they are ready to work with government. They have already appreciated having identified them to work with government or to monitor government programs.
The Regional Inspectorate Officer Mbarara Okech Frederick says community monitoring groups are now acting as whistleblowers for the office of the inspectorate.
And we arrested a notorious drug thief. This is a guy who had been arrested by the district for stealing drugs. He survived. He was arrested by, I think, the State House and Anti-Corruption Unit. He survived, but the community monitoring groups managed to get him out. and we arrested him. By God's grace, he was actually convicted and is serving his sentence at Luzira.
The inspectorate concluded the monitoring program in Kashari, Yibanda and Tungamo, where community monitoring groups asked questions on what is expected out of them after the training.
Every day of their life they are monitoring, they are seeing what's going on. And I think this is a very good strategy, because when they know where to start from, when they know that even when they go to the local authorities and they don't be supportive, they can run to a civil society which can run to the inspectorate. So I think this is a very good project, and it really should be promoted.
Muhumuza Samuel, the executive director, Justice is a Right Uganda, says the training will enhance visibility in different areas.
We are informing the community, the people we call the grassroots people, that they should know that the government is delivering to them. Therefore, they should be in the know of the services that are being implemented in their area, and take a note to investigate, to know exactly what is supposed to be delivered, and inquire from the service providers so that we can tally. The information can flow easily to the beneficiary. Then the beneficiary should be accountable to know exactly what is supposed to be delivered to them.
The purpose of the Inspectorate of Government in Ankole, particularly in Barara, was to find out how community members are being trained in curbing corruption. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Well, thank you so much, Sudat Kaye, for that story. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with business news.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Yellow, how are you? Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Sent you for today, and they sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN Mobile Money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, with support from the Uganda Support Municipal Infrastructure Development Program, shall hold an Urban Awareness Week for selected stakeholders, including Municipal Development Forum executive members, representatives of the city councils, private sector, media and CSOs, selected landowners, agents and land user associations, and the office of the resident city commissioners in the cities of Mbarara, Fort Potro and Hoima. The exercise shall be held from 21st to 26th February 2021 in line with the COVID-19 standard operating procedures. As a measure to curb the spread of COVID-19, attendance shall only be by invitation.
Your safety while using electricity starts with having a certified technician to wire your premises. Do not use Camille
socket. Chisaka, now that the wiring is complete, how do I get power?
No, I'll get you power in my own way. And you don't even have to worry about the bills. I'll bring them myself. Is your neighbor there?
She went to work.
Does she have power?
Yes, she has.
If your neighbor has power, you have power.
Desist from illegal connections because they are not only dangerous, but could lead to prosecution and death.
Chisaka, what is this? Oh my God, I'm from Umeme.
I did not say Umeme. I am from Umeme.
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Chomjisha Sanyonga and Mukala Mohammed on Sign Language. In our business stories, Housing Finance Bank, in partnership with Buloka App, have launched a digitized platform to enable customers acquire property in a fast and convenient way. The initiative is pivotal in promoting digital transformation of businesses in the housing value chain.
Home ownership in Uganda is among some of the most important human needs. But with the huge housing deficit in the country, high demand of decent housing, shortage of reliable information, and the undependability of brokers make the search of a house a constant hassle.
The process of acquisition of a home is faced with many challenges, and for me, information is key, especially given that we live in the information age. We live in information age, yet if I want to buy a property of 100 million shillings, my only point of call is that agent next door. If I happen to live in Chengera, it should be the agent around Chengera. If I happen to live in Chigo, it's that agent around Reza that I will know. I'll probably not know a broker who lives in Ntinda.
Housing Finance Bank and Buloka App platform seek to support businesses and promote transparency within the housing value chain. The digital platform will efficiently and directly link real estate and property developers to the buyer.
So we have buyers, we have sellers, we have financiers such as Housing Finance Bank. All of these are able to meet on the platform seamlessly, effortlessly, and most important, without having to wear a mask. If you look at the trend of business now, most businesses are going digital. And if business is going to survive, if we are able to serve our users and our customers better, at the risk of wearing the hat of housing finance, innovation is going to be important.
Adoption of e-commerce in Uganda's property market is seen as timely and convenient for customers from within the country and in the diaspora. According to the Center for Affordable Housing Finance in Africa, Uganda currently has a total of 1.6 billion shillings in residential mortgage loans collectively held by formal banking and non-banking financial institutions. Charlotte Amuge for UBC Business.
Thank you so much, Charlotte Amunge, for that wonderful story on Housing Finance Bank cooperating and working with Buloka app. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight at 8 p.m. My name is Sharon Chomdisha Sanyanga with Mugalu Muhammad in Sign Language. We leave you with the weather forecast by Alex Sempa.
Brought to you by...
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is time for the weather forecast from the Weather Center with Semper Alex Kim. Sunny intervals dominated our skies across the country in the morning hours. However, in the afternoon, cloudy conditions that developed into isolated rainfall in various parts of the country. By 9 a.m. This morning, various parts of the country reported some rainfall, like Mbarara reported 37.0 millimeters, while Kampala 7.5 and Jinja reported 1.3 millimeters of rainfall. Now, the satellite look on Africa shows there is a tropical cyclone called Gambe over the Mozambique Channel that has influenced the rain belt and shifted it quite to the south away from our country. That is why we are having reduced rainfall activities. However, there are winds that are quite dry but also dusty that are coming in through the Sahara desert coming into our region. The reason we still have the haze and hot conditions in the north of the country. Otherwise, the southwestern is also expected to still benefit from the Congo air mass. Tomorrow morning, we do expect sunny intervals, that is across the southwestern part of the country. However, areas along the Lake Victoria Basin are expected to have some thundering showers. Well, the rest of the country will hang on to bright and sunny conditions. Well, into the afternoon, we do expect some light isolated rainfall in the western sector of the country, as well as parts of the Lake Victoria Basin and to the eastern. This will influence temperatures to be quite hot at 33 degrees. That will be in Karamoja region, 28 in the nation's capital Kampala, whereas in Kabale Highlands we are forecasting at 24 degrees centigrade. And elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting cold conditions that will be in New York at a daytime high of only 2 degrees centigrade, but sunny intervals will dominate. Whereas Dubai is expected to have sunny intervals with temperatures a little bit cold at 28 degrees centigrade compared to the usual. That wraps it up. Stay tuned.
Brought to you by...
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.